Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I kind of want to give a quick training on how to brainstorm for your BSMD personal statement. The reason why I'm making this video is because 5, 6, 7 years ago when I was applying to BSMD programs and was accepted, this was actually a really difficult thing for me to do, was brainstorming for my BSMD personal statement. The reason for that is because you're kind of writing one standard essay that's getting sent to every single BSMD program that you're applying to, and it's kind of your mission statement about why you want to go to a BSMD program and why you want to be a doctor, and it's a pretty big deal for your BSMD application, and so brainstorming is a pretty difficult thing to do, and that's kind of what I want to talk about right here. So the first thing that you should do is, and something that I recommend to all the people who I helped, edit their BSMD essays, is reflect on your personal experiences within medicine. So think about all the experiences that you've had in medicine, volunteering in a hospital, shadowing a physician, participating in research projects, um, anything else, being a phlebotomist, working as an EMT, anything that you've done kind of that you've helped somebody who was sick or you've helped somebody that was in emotional distress, any sort of personal experience that you have within medicine, you kind of want to focus on those experiences. And so the first thing that I would recommend is write down every single experience that you've had within the field of medicine or that has given you some skill that um, doctors or other healthcare professionals would like to have. And so write every single one down. Maybe it's a list of two, three, four things that you've done. And then I want you to write a paragraph about each one. And this is kind of your free flow. Memory is kind of a funny thing because, it's really difficult to write a personal statement. It's a lot easier to kind of free flow about the experiences that we've had. And so for brainstorming, you kind of want to just have like pages and pages of, your free flow writing. And so if you kind of do this drill, it really helps people to kind of figure out what is the experience, what is the story that I want to write about, and try to reflect on each experience, each story, things like that. So the goal should be, this first step, write 3 pages or so of free flow for each one of your activities. So try to remember every single story that you can remember, every single patient that was really interesting to you, every single person that was really interesting to you, why it inspired you. Ask yourself questions, if somebody was asking me questions about my experience that I did as a caretaker for somebody with autism, what questions would they ask me? And then how would I answer? And how can I expand on those answers? What skills did I learn? Try to do that and try to write, a page, 2 pages, 3 pages for each one of these experiences. And once you do that, you're gonna be in a really solid spot for kind of writing your BSMD essay. So the first thing is reflect on your personal experiences within the field of medicine. Second thing is, you can consider any sort of academic achievements, research projects, coursework, academic awards. Kind of think about have any of these academic things you've done really contributed to your desire to pursue a career in medicine. And the goal here is not to kind of talk about the achievement that you had, because that's kind of bragging, right? You don't want to brag. You kind of want to think like, okay, one of the things I was really proud about was the fact that I got an A in AP biology. Why was I really proud about that? Well, because it was a really difficult class, but one of the things I really liked learning about that is kind of, I remember learning about the kidney, and I really liked the renal tubules and all these things. And I remember the first time I was really fascinated by it. So, that becomes a really good story, is like, when was the first time you got really interested in biology or chemistry? If you did research, what was the research that you got really, really in love with? And again, kind of figure out, well, what are the things that kind of contributed to your desire to learn science and to get really interested in the human body and to get really interested in doing clinical research or basic research? And think about those moments and then write, a page for each, again, about, the academic side of things rather than the clinical side of things. And so you'll have another great paragraph if you kind of focus on these things. So if I had to write a page or two about the research I did in high school, I would write a page and try to answer questions like, well, what was the research project? How did I get the research project? What was the end result? What were my experiences in the lab? What was the things that I learned, both technically about neuroscience as well as like soft skills in terms of communication and presentation and scientific communication and things like that. And so if you can write a page again about each of your academic sort of significant moments, you'll have a really great opportunity to kind of parcel and choose the things that are really interesting to you, the stories that you want to write about. Okay. The third thing is kind of think about what unique qualities you have. chances are you're going to be writing an essay about how you overcame a significant obstacle. You might have to write an essay about your unique cultural background or your commitment to diversity. You might have to write an essay about your leadership skills when you displayed leadership. And so this is more for your sort of secondary BSMD essays, more than your primary, more than your mission statement. But this is also kind of critical to think about. When were times that you displayed leadership? Can you write a list of times you displayed leadership? When were times that you displayed or that you developed your own uh, cultural background, or how did that influence the person you are today? When was times that you overcame significant obstacles? What did you learn from those things? Try to write free flow about your answers to these questions. The next thing is you want to connect your personal experiences to medicine. So I talked about how you want to free flow, right? So now after you free flowed about your clinical experiences, your academic achievements, your academic significant moments, you kind of want to focus on how the personal experiences can be connected to your interest in medicine. So why was it that when you shadowed a nephrologist or something, why was it that that was so interesting to you that you wanted to become a doctor? Why was it that when you volunteered in the EMT for the first time, you got really interested in medicine? Why was that? What was that? What was it about those experiences that made you want to be a doctor? Think about that, because that's going to be a significant portion of your paragraph. Your paragraph should be structured like your story about when was the time that you got really interested in medicine. And then the conclusion of that paragraph should be, well, why did that get you interested in medicine, and what does that mean about you as a doctor? Um, so can you tell me a story about, if you really loved biology, can you tell me a story of the first time that you got really interested in biology, and then connect that with why that makes you want to be a doctor? And so if you can kind of connect each one of your personal experiences that you listed or you wrote about and kind of free flow about why that made you want to be a doctor, that's a great second step. Okay. And finally, you want to kind of research the BSMD programs that you're applying to, see what their specific requirements are, their word count, their website can tell you about their mission, values, and goals, and all these things, and then see if you can kind of research the programs and tailor your essay, especially to the word count, for their specific requirements. Okay, the last thing to kind of free write about is considering your future goals. So, do you have any like long-term goals that the BSMD program can help you with? Do you want to be a physician innovator? Do you want to work in rural areas? Do you want to work as a primary care doctor? Do you want to work as an orthopedic surgeon? Do you want to serve in politics? All these things can kind of be additional things you add. It's not something that I like think is very valuable to include. I don't think it really adds too much to talk about specific things that you want to do as a doctor, because the goal is kind of to talk about, the fact that you want to be a doctor. But, some people write really great essays where they kind of focus on that they want to be a physician involved in advocacy for rural communities or something like that. And that can kind of add to your essay if you make it good. Okay, the last thing is kind of seeking feedback. And so ask people, your trusted friends, families, mentors, ask them for feedback and figure out every single paragraph you should be asking them, does this show that I want to be a doctor? Does this show that I want to be only a doctor and not a researcher or a nurse or something else? Does this show that I'm really excited by medicine? Does this show that I've done enough clinical work? Does this seem interesting? Is it sharing stories? And if you can ask those questions and they're giving positive feedback, that's how you know that you're improving and getting closer and closer to the final draft that you want to get to. Your goal is to make a compelling essay. So if I had to summarize what I'm saying, my summary would be the first step is free write about all your experiences within healthcare. Second thing is free write about your academic experiences that made you interested in science. Third thing is connect your experiences in healthcare and your academic experiences with why you want to be a doctor. And the fourth step is write your essay. Fifth step is seek feedback and improve. And if you can do these 5 steps, you're going to have a really, really phenomenal essay that's better than 100% of applicants applying. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, I'm sure you do, leave them in the comments down below and I'll be happy to get back to you. If this was helpful, feel free to subscribe to the channel because there's tons of more valuable content coming up in your way. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.